just get in it. And we're going. We don't even have a thing that we play at the beginning that's like the stream is starting soon. These are all things that we could have. I actually have a scene that says starting soon that we could run. It's fine though. We're already live. So Dom and I are here with guest CrypticMuffin, who is a GM on our server, among other things. Do you want to introduce yourself real quick before we?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. I'm CrypticMuffins. I often just go by Leah on the server if you see me around. I've been in the community for just a handful of years now. I've kind of been just around hanging out. I've been playing in TTRPGs for a very long time, almost 12 years at this point, maybe more than that, and DMing for 6 or 7. That's me.
Wow, that's longer than Dom. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Good resume. You're hired, by the way.
Thanks.
All right. So, I was thinking, we have a lot of people that are running games on the server now, and I like that. I like that a lot. I like having people on the server so that when I need to fill a game, I don't have to leave the server. I don't have to go anywhere. I can just be like, hey, I'm thinking about rolling the sky, and then I can just try to get people on the server. So like, I like the idea of building this community up, and it's also nice to have people to play Marvel Rivals with that aren't mean. So like, you know, there's a lot of benefits to having a nice community, and people running games on the Discord makes that community bigger, stronger, and all that kind of stuff. I do let people run paid games on the server without any special fees or like big pimpin' cuts or anything like that, just because I'm a big proponent of DMing is work. It's hard work, and I think people should be compensated for it. And so it got me thinking, right, that you, CrypticMuffin, have been DMing for 6 or 7 years, but this is your first foray into paid DMing, right? So yeah. So I kind of want to get that general vibe check of how are things going, talk about that. And I've talked to a couple of other GMs, paid GMs, about I don't know if we want to call it, it's pretty ostentatious to call it the profession of paid DM, but I've never managed to talk to Dom about it, because Dom always miss those ones. So now I've got both of you here, and I'm hoping to talk to both of you about paid DMing. So it's a thing we've talked about before on the VODCAST. It's the thing that I've talked about just when people ask me during like prep session and things like that. But essentially, right, it is the act of being compensated for running a game for a group of people, right? And there's different business models for it, and there's different ways to do it. I have open on the right side of the screen, Start Playing Games. We're not affiliated with Start Playing Games. We're not sponsored by Start Playing Games, but I do think that Start Playing Games is probably the best place to start playing games. Hey, look at that, free ad space. Hey, so yeah, if you are looking to be a paid DM, or you're looking to find a paid DM, Start Playing Games. It's like going to like Amsterdam or Las Vegas to get a hooker instead of like the local Walmart parking lot. Okay, so get off of the Roll20 message boards, get out of them Discords. Okay, get out of them Facebook groups. This is a real professional service. So if you are looking to start your DMing, paid DMing, or you're looking to hire a paid DM, this is where I would recommend that you go. Or I guess our server, but our games are almost always full. But you know, both of them are great. So now that we kind of established that, you're gonna be like, I would never pay for it. I would never, just like I would never go to Amsterdam or Las Vegas. I would never pay for Dungeons & Dragons. I would never pay for TTRPG. That's disgusting. I'm here to tell you that you're wrong. It's a pretty good service. It's a pretty good thing to do. It's not always good, just like any paid product, right? It's not always good. But I do think that it is a necessary service, and I do think it is a service worth paying for, especially if you could find a good one. All right, so with that groundwork out of the way, I've got some. I actually have a little bit of some questions to kind of burn through here.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, of the three of us, all three of us are currently running one or more paid games. We are also in one or more paid games. You guys wanna give me your deets on that, Dom? What games do you?
Right.
What games? Yeah. This is. Don't be ashamed. Just tell us all the games, all 17 of them. Just put them out there. So how many games do you?
All right. I'm currently in 3 games.
Okay.
I'm in now. Just recently started Kingmaker, run by Crash. I'm in a Carrying Crown anthology run by Leah. And then I'm also in a Season of Ghosts game run by Idomira, who's also a friend of the server.
Nice.
And then I run one paid game, Strength of Thousands, which is run on the server on Tuesdays.
Yep. Okay. What about you, Cryptic Muffins? What's your resume here?
You want all of them?
Well, I mean, if you're
related,
allowed to say, yeah, I mean, it's related to the topic, right? Like,
all right, this will be a mix of paid games and free games.
Oh, okay.
So Mondays, I'm in a Stolen Fates game run by CRASHDOM. That one just started up.
Okay.
On Tuesdays, I'm in a Strength of Thousands game run by Dom Odyssey.
Okay.
Wednesday is when I'm running the Carrion Crown. Thursday is when I'm running my Dragon Lords campaign.
Okay.
Friday is when we're running. I'm playing in a Bloodlords campaign by Idomera. Saturday morning, I'm playing in a Seven Dunes of Samboint game. And Saturday evening, I'm playing in a Seasons of Ghosts game. Sundays, I have 2 games as well that rotate weekly.
Okay.
And both of those are homebrew concoctions of the DM's mind. So.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay. I feel like you're very qualified then to talk about the differences between paid games and free games, friends and family games, all that kind of stuff. All right. So I'm probably in the least amount of games I've been in 5 or 6 years. I've come a long way from 2020. Let me tell you that. So I'm running a game. My week starts on Monday, so I'm running a game on Monday nights, Stolen Fate. I'm playing in a game on Tuesday nights, which is Strength of Thousands. So there's definitely some round robin nepotism in this circle of 3 people here. Wednesday nights, I run a friends and family game of Curse of Strahd Classic. Thursday night, I've got my 100% homebrew Pathfinder game, Skyhaven. Sunday evenings, I've got Kingmaker, and that's it right now. That's it right now. There may or may not be revival. I'm trying to make the time for Dragonbane. Trying to see if I can work that out. We'll see. But yeah, man, it's we play a lot of games. That's where we're going with this. We play a lot of games. We play in a lot of games. We play in free games. We run free games. We also run paid games. We also play in paid games. So I feel like we're pretty qualified to discuss and talk about what's coming up. All right. So I want to ask you guys. I guess just each of you answer the question. What do you think the number one reason is people would get a paid GM?
I would say it would be quality, but I think more importantly, it's consistency.
Yeah, I think I definitely agree on the consistency aspect of it, because I've definitely played in a few games that were consistent, but the quality was just kind of all over the place with a lot of things. Some people say, no TTRPG is worse than bad TTRPG, and I think those people are wrong, but it is something that is said.
Yeah, I've heard people put TTRPG, D&D, right, in the same category as sex and pizza, where they're like, hey, I mean, it's still pizza. I don't think that's true. It doesn't take me 4 hours to eat a pizza. So, yeah, if the pizza's not good, but I need nourishment, I could choke down the pizza in like 5 or 10 minutes and move on with my life. But if I got to sit through 4 hour or 3 hour or however long the session is, and it not good, that's 3 or 4 hours I could be doing anything else with my life. So yeah, it's not the same. It's not the same. Yeah. All right.
What do you look for, like, in a quality TTRPG game that runs consistently? Like, what are you looking for when you join up with
That's
one?
a good question. All right.
So I can. So for me, it is consistency. So like as long as my expectations are managed with terms of the quality, and that quality is maintained, and I know that that's quality I'm getting, I'm perfectly fine if the quality is maintained. And that's usually what I think of when I go through a paid GM, is that at that point they sort of have a style, and I don't think the quality is gonna drop off. I'm assuming the quality is gonna stay the same or possibly get better as they get more comfortable with the players. So, and that's what I look forward to most in signing up for a paid game.
Yeah, I mean, if I had to rank it, I would still put consistency above quality, but I am at a point in my life where the consistency would not be enough, right? So like if I was like, okay, I trust this DM to show up every week, I trust this DM to take it to the finish line, I trust this DM to make consistent calls, right? That's all consistency stuff, right? Like, consistency is not just showing up, but it's also delivering a consistent experience, right? Like, if they say something is like this in this session, it should also be like that in that session, unless it's very explicitly like, okay, this one time you're gonna do this thing. But like, I don't want to say we've all run into this. I know I've run into this. You get the seat of their pants GM, right? They're like, I don't need no prep. I don't need to know the rules. People are here for my raw animal magnetism. I'm just gonna rule a cool this thing from start to finish. It's gonna be great. Yeah. Rule a cool, no prep. That's cool for like one session. Like, it's cool for like a one shot. It's cool for like something that's like kind of fun and disposable. But something like that you're investing your time, your energy, and in the case of a paid game, your money into, kind of need a little bit more foundational support there. Kind of need more structure.
And in that part, that's what I'm talking about with consistency of quality. Yeah, as well.
Yeah, and definitely consistency across the board, right? And then to say consistency of quality is a good point. I would take it as far as saying, like, if there was an amazing game, let's just say there was a Matt Mercer level game, right? That's the gold standard, right? Matt Mercer, right? Mm-hmm. If he could talk about your sternum, like, you've made it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's it. So, like, the Matt Mercer game. If there was a Matt Mercer, like, quality DM, and I could sign up for their game, and I could afford to sign up for their game, but they were canceling every other week, and they were showing up sometimes just, like, not feeling it, you know, just not feeling it. They're kind of like, eh. And, like, we're only, you know, or they're just, like, you could tell that you're only getting that, like, Matt Mercer gold standard, like, maybe once every 3 sessions, once every 6 weeks. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't see myself as, like, desperate enough for that quality to, like, put up with the lack of consistency, right? So that's why, for me, consistency is definitely the top, and then right below that would be quality. Yeah. I guess quality, though, is, you know, it's a pretty broad standard. Like, what is the quality of a good game, right? Outside of consistency.
I feel like the quality is really subjective, depending on the person and what they're looking for.
Absolutely,
you know?
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and that's part of the managing expectations. Like, I would want most like when I look at a GM, somebody who can at least let me know what I'm getting into right up front, so that my expectations are managed. And then once I, if it's a paid game and I'm making the commitment to be here for the entire length of the game, I know that this is the expectation I have, and that expectation is going to be maintained. Whatever that expectation is, I can say like the quality is going to be like a 5, and I'm signing up, and I know I'm signing up for a 5 game, right? And that 5 stays consistent.
5 out of 5?
No, 5 out of 10.
5 out of 10.
5 out of 10.
Wow.
Yeah, say it's a 5 out of 10 game.
Okay.
But I know that I'm signing up for a 5 out of 10 game, and I'm interested in this 5 out of 10 game.
Mm-hmm.
And the DM is consistently doing the 5 out of 10. And maybe there's a time when they go up to like 6 or 7, and maybe there's a day they go down to 4. Okay. But at least I know that they're around there, because no one's perfect.
Yeah. Okay.
But at least I know that I'm coming here expecting a 5, and I'm getting a 5 for my money.
This is really encouraging for me. This is good. I hope everyone else feels like you do. That's good. I'm updating my own standards. Note to self: just deliver 5s. Hell yeah. Hell
I actually
yeah.
have a really good example.
See, the whole idea is to manage the expectations at the beginning. So
right.
if you come at me with an 8, and that's just you're telling me this is gonna be an 8 game, and then 2 sessions in it turns into all 5s for the rest of the campaign, I'm gonna be like,
damn,
I feel like I got cheated.
That hurts my business strategy of start strong, end strong. You know what I'm saying? I'm like a sandwich with high quality bread and mediocre ingredients. That's my DM style. You know what I'm saying? You get get a good start, you get a good finish, and then there's a lot. It's like a cartoon sandwich. There's so much filling in there. None of it's very good. None of it's very filling. But damn, that bread. Oh man, that was good stuff. All right, good to know. Good to know. All right, what? Yeah, I guess that's true. It is what you are looking for in a game. Perfect example. You are a number crunching Pathfinder kid. You are here to test builds and wreck monsters, right? You are here to break the game, right? You're going to need a very specific kind of DM and a very specific group to have a good time, right? Especially with the evolution of the hobby into being more of like a drama kids paradise, right? Like you're going to need to find that fellow wargamer DM, right? That like is also about that style, or you're just probably not going to have a very good time. So it does require on the consumer end, right? Quite a bit of research. I mean, if we go to, we're at Start Playing Games right now, and I go find games, and I'm like, dang, there's a turtle right there. That's all I need. Click, join. No. You need to do more than that. You need to do way more than that. Like, you got to look at everything about this. This is a weekly game on a Friday night, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to tell you right now, as I tell people all the time, don't sign up for games on Friday nights and Saturday nights. You will regret it. You're going to be that Squidward meme where you're looking out the window of your house and everybody else is going to be jellyfishing, and you're going to be strapped in for your campaign every Friday night for the next year, 2, 3 years of your life, bro. Like, same thing with Saturday night. Those are precious nights. Like, mini series, sure. Couple of one shots here and there, absolutely. Full on campaign, Friday, Saturday night. I would never join one because I would be worried about the other players quitting out, because it's just not a very sustainable spot. I ran a game on Friday nights, and it worked because we had this thing called a global pandemic. But I don't think that it would have worked very well like outside of that. There was definitely fatigue settled in a lot faster on a Friday night, because people were like, damn, this campaign's still going, huh? But I really wanted my Friday nights back. So I would skip that one even if I was really interested in it. But if I was really interested, maybe I would look, because some of these pro DMs, all they do is run the same game every day of the week. So like, you might see a game that's like really, really good, and you might say, this just doesn't work for me. You could see if they're running that game in a different time slot. Or sometimes these GMs have nothing else to do. They're just like cupcake spouses, right? They have nothing else to do. So like, you could just message them and be like, hey, I really like this. Will you answer the call of the Netherdeep campaign? But none of your time slots work. I have 3 friends. Would you be willing to run it for me and my 3 friends on a different day? they might do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah.
Yep.
That's the stuff to keep in mind as you're kind of perusing as you go. Now, of course, they got filters, right? So you could find a game that works. I have absolutely no free time at all, so I don't know how I would schedule myself a new game. We could just pretend, though, that I'm not going to take my own advice, and every Saturday night I'm going to sign up for a game. And then you tell it, like, the earliest that you could start, the latest you could start. My whole Saturday's free, baby. Let's go. I want it every week. Apply. Now it's going to show me the games just for those times. Go through, see what we got here. All right, Curse of Strahd. That sounds interesting. I wonder what that's about. So I'm looking at Curse of Strahd. You can see that Joel with Table Quests. Okay, so Joel with Table Quest, he's got a 5-star out of 39 reviews. That's incredible. But he has an 8-person table. What the fuck, Joel? What the fuck, Joel? So I'm gonna keep going. Do you see what I'm saying? So like, you want to do your research, okay? You want to. This is the beginning of the research, right? Joel's got 39 5-star reviews. That's pretty incredible. I'd actually be confused, right?
Cool.
But everyone has 5-star reviews on Start Playing Games. Look at this. Everybody does. This guy's got 150 or 180 5-star reviews. That's absolutely incredible. Like, looking at this page, you got one person that's got like a 4.6. So can I really trust those? What I would do, you don't have to go this far, and what I've done in the past is I'll go to the people in the reviews and I'll like message them. And I'll be like, how do you really feel about this person? Because I really want to know what I'm getting into before I sign up for a game. I'll look for I like games where they record the games, because then I'll watch the games, and then that lets me know for sure, like, if this is the kind of thing I could deal with. What if you sign up for a game and the DM sounds like Mickey Mouse and you didn't know until you signed up for the game and you showed up for the first session, and he opens his mouth and he sounds like Mickey Mouse, and that's not a character voice. That's how he sounds the whole time.
Like, whenever you're like looking at these games and stuff like that, you just look at what the advertisement from the GM, and like, if they have things like, oh yeah, we do interviews before the games. Like, if you feel like if they like have stuff in place in order to find the right people for their games, I mean, that's a good sign. Yeah. You know, if you have a GM that vets their players, like, as a player, being vetted is a good thing. Because that not only that protects the GM, but also protects you from getting in a game that you don't want to be you don't want to be in.
All right, so we kind of established like what you're looking for in when you go to find a game, right? And we've kind of established what the paid game is and all of that. So what I want to ask you guys is, how is it going? Like, how does being a paid DM differ from being a friends and family DM? That's what we're going to call it. And then I guess the third type of DM is you just hang out with strangers that you've never met and you run games for. So that's like the three groups, right? You got strangers on the internet, friends and family, and paid games. So how does it differ? You want to get this one, Cryptic?
Sure. So I have been a paid DM for 4 weeks.
Okay.
So I'll start with that.
All right. But you've got that fresh perspective, that initial nerves, right? Are there other nerves?
Oh yeah. I was feeling it last session especially. I actually got a message from one of the players that was like, "Hey, are you okay?" And I'm like, "I was really nervous," and they told me, "Yeah, I know. You used your customer service voice for half the session to try to make when I was apologizing." Yeah, it is very nervous. Mm-hmm. But I don't think the paid aspect of the game is what makes me nervous. I think it's just running for people that I don't know as well as my friends and family group.
Okay.
My friends and family group I have known since I was in middle school, before I've been running TTRPG games. I'm in their brain. They're in my brain. Mm-hmm. I know what they're gonna do. They have a feeling what I'm gonna do. Mm-hmm. And I just don't get that with the people I don't know as well as that. I do think though it does have It does have some pressure, though. The pressure of wanting to make sure the players at the table are all having fun and getting engaged as much as I'd like them to. Whereas in my friends and family group, I do pay attention to that, but maybe not as much as I usually do, because most of the time we're just making dick jokes for 3 hours straight. We don't necessarily do that in paid games, because we want to, move things along and not, sit there talking about silly shit for 3 hours.
Okay. Have you noticed a difference in how much you prep for a friends and family game versus how much you prep for a paid game?
No.
Okay.
I think it's because I really enjoy prepping. I find it very relaxing. So I want to say I prep about the same. For that, yeah, I don't think so. Yeah,
Okay.
my notes documents are about the same size for every session.
I would say
nothing
enjoying prep is definitely, I don't want to say it's a requirement, but you're gonna have it's gonna be better for you if you want to go into paid DMing if you enjoy prepping. It's like trying to be a basketball player but you don't like playing basketball. Like so much, especially of online D&D, of virtual tabletop, there is a lot more prep. Yeah, the golden age of showing up with a piece of paper that says "sexy goblin?" and that's your notes. Like, I mean, I don't know how far that's gonna fly. Could fly all the way through a session. Don't know if it'll get you through a whole campaign. But yeah, I think that there is a certain expectation, a certain standard there as the hobby continues to evolve, that if you're running a virtual tabletop game, you've at least got like the Roll20, map pack or something like that. I mean, you got something, right? You got tokens. Like there's that expectation there. Not everybody is going to be dropping like red kobold animations and like maps and all that. Not everybody's going to be like the next Bailey Wiki with like full on like TTRPG video game recreation, Ripper 3D. You're playing Baldur's Gate on your Inside Foundry. Like, I don't think that expectation is the standard at all. I don't think that's the standard at all. And really, as a player who pays for games, I would prefer the DM put their time and energy into knowing the adventure and having like dynamic, interesting NPCs and cool storylines that tie the characters into the main campaign and vice versa. I would prefer all of that over any of the bells and whistles and fancy VTT stuff.
Well, I think that's something good to mention. Like when you run a paid game, it is like a service. So I feel like a lot of the time you're going to be running a already set up either module or adventure path, because that's what people usually want to play. At least in my experience, I don't see a lot of people signing up for Homebrew TTRPG games, either on Start Playing or just elsewhere around. Like if they see Cursed Strahd, they know what they're going to get out of it.
And so that part of that is the expectation thing. Like if I'm going to be putting in the both time, first of all, time and your commitment to a game, but then also money. I want to make sure I'm getting something that I think I want, And so when you see a pre-written module, you're like, okay, other people have played this. I've heard about this module. I've seen advertisements for this module. This module might be something I'm interested in because I know the themes. And so if somebody's running it, I was like, okay, that feels like a safer bet than going for somebody's homebrew.
It's the safer bet for everyone. Precons are the safe bet for everyone. Easier for the paid DM because so much more support, right? The core infrastructure is made. Sometimes the whole thing is done, right? You do a Pathfinder adventure on Foundry VTT, you're 90% done. You know what I mean? Just by installing it, you're like 90% done with the prep. That's incredible. If you want to make it spicier, if you want to, flesh it out a little bit, cool. You already have 90% of the prep done. That's incredible. Roll20 support, not as strong. You're maybe like 70% of the prep. You know, you're gonna have some stuff you got to fill in, but yeah, like there is some benefit there, right, to doing that. Also, finding paying customers, right? Because like you guys said, people have heard of it, right? Free advertising, right? And there's that communal experience too, right? Like I want to talk to my friends about Curse of Strahd. So if I play Curse of Strahd, I could talk to them about Curse of Strahd and we'll have done the same thing. Like there's like that community aspect to it where it's like you want to take part in this cool thing. It's like vacation destinations, right? Like
yeah.
That's why some places are more popular than others, right? Because there's that like communal thing. Like, hey, we all went to this place like at different times and we had different experiences, but we also had common experiences, and that's why we all went to that same place. And we all went to that same place because that's a reputation for being pretty cool and pretty interesting. Yeah. If you go and choose where is it? Let's see if we got a random one here. Shadow of Diablo ? Right? So you're like, Shadow of Diablo, that's a thing that's happening. And then you're like, I've never heard of this before. Maybe it'll be good, right? I don't know. Yeah. I don't know anything about it, right? I can't read reviews about it. I can't do anything. Homebrew, right? Homebrew is just harder for everyone everywhere. And I say this running because I'm running a completely homebrew campaign right now with Skyhaven. I got nothing. Do you know what I'm saying? I got nothing to lean on. I got nothing to blame if it goes wrong besides myself. I'm putting myself 100% out there with the story, with the product, with the prep, right? I'm having to do it all. Yeah. I got nothing. It's exhilarating and it's very exciting. It's very freeing. But here's the other thing that people probably don't want to hear. Not all homebrew campaigns are good. like there are a lot of people that can't tell a good story. Like there's just they can't. I would say the majority of people can't tell a good story. Like so
I think as a collective we all know that, and that's the reason why we a lot of people go for the safe bet. Yeah.
Like how do I know when I sign up for the Rise of Giants, this isn't just this guy's size fantasy fetish fan fiction? Do you know what I'm saying? Like how do I know? How do I know that this isn't what the campaign is? Now if it is, maybe I'll sign up. But like how do I know that that's not what this is about? You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. Now there's people that exclusively run homebrew stuff. Like Sumo Sensei, right? He runs an entire MMO world, right? Like homebrew MMO world. It's incredible.
There's a few GMs out there that like have like a living world type of thing, which all homebrew.
Yeah. Captain Bear, I think his name is, something like that. He does nothing but homebrew. But here's what they have going for him. You can watch all their stuff, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So there's proof. There's proof of product, right? So like you could watch it and be like, wow, this is so incredible. It's something new and different that no one's ever seen before. And then you're like, I want to be a part of that. I want to be a part of the next story that guy, that person's telling. So if you do want to go homebrew, I think you need to get established a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I can't recommend enough, even if you're streaming to an audience of no one except yourselves. I think that streaming the games and recording it is really smart, because then you have a documentation of the campaign. There's these new AI tools that will just watch the VOD for you and give you a bulleted list of everything that happened. They'll give you a time-stamped list of everything that happened. If somebody misses the game, they could just watch the game and catch up, right? Like if you're the DM and you've been running the campaign for 3.5 years and your players trigger some weird time travel stuff, you can go back to the YouTube playlist and you can figure out exactly when in the timeline they went back and broke time, so that you now can throw all of the other content in the trash and start all over again, but at least you know exactly where and what was going on when that happened. That's just a random example. But like, that's why it's good to have sort of this recording of what you're doing. And then if you are trying to get into paid DMing, you go and you get clips. You get the clips from when people are like screaming, right? When they're so excited, or they're laughing so hard they can't breathe. Like, that's when you go and you grab those clips and you put those clips up on your Start Playing Games profile on your website with your ad, right? You make like a reel of like all your best stuff so that people say, oh dang, I want to be laughing at that table, I want to be having a good time. That's why this paid DMing thing is working so well, because Critical Role, it sold everyone the fantasy, right, of sitting around the table with handsome, beautiful people who are all high charisma score, everybody's laughing and cracking jokes. Sam Riegel's there, he's hilarious, he beat cancer. It's so amazing, right? It's just the best. That's what you want to do, right? Especially if you aren't leaning on brand familiarity, right? Like, if you're trying to run some more obscure stuff, if you're trying to run some homebrew stuff, then you're definitely going to want to be building up that repertoire, that portfolio, as it were. That
you got to be able to set expectations. It's hard to set a pre-written adventure already has expectations built in that people can look at, whereas anything not that, you're gonna have to do the work to set those expectations.
So I'm currently in 2 fully homebrew campaigns. I got my start playing in games with homebrew games. I've had to kind of fight and claw for my group to play modules and APs because they just were so against them. They wanted nothing to do with them. They just want to play homebrew games. So the 2 current homebrew games I'm in right now, the GMs are incredible. They go out of their way to do everything for this game. They draw every single NPC, every single monster, and every single map that we play on. Both of them do this. It's crazy. I just want to say that because I feel like homebrew can be really, really tough, but I think it can also be really rewarding. Just seeing like your exact vision kind of left at the table, and also playing a world where your GM cares about what happens, and there might not even be a set path for this homebrew world to go down to. It's just it's really cool what homebrew can do.
Absolutely.
And so to jump off of that, like the reason why my first homebrew game that I ever ran was the Monster Hunter one, and I'm pretty sure, and maybe I'm not speaking for the Crasher, one of the players here, but my love of Monster Hunter definitely made that game much more enjoyable for me to prep and to run. And I don't know if, and I'm hoping that translated into the quality of when I actually ran it.
Oh, absolutely. And I felt like it was a very smart game for your first homebrew, right? Because the standard in a Monster Hunter game, right, is fighting cool monsters, right? Like that's what you're there for, and that's your strength. That's like one of your biggest strengths is like boss design and monster design and stuff like that. Game mechanic design. And you at the time were still leveling up, like running believable NPCs and creating like intertwining like NPC relationships and like that kind of thing. And so like it gave you this good outlet to kind of build with a property that you love, with things that you were very good at, right? And then you kind of built this world, and we could all see the love and the care and the attention to detail that went into the interconnected maps, the ecosystem that you had created with all the monsters on the island and the changes you had made for the island, and just it was beautiful, right? It was so beautiful, and it was just a perfect fit for that initial game because it was playing to your strengths, and it was also a passion project, right? So like it really like showed in the work and in the experience we had playing in it, which I thought was great. Which I thought was really great. For me, I used to only try to run homebrew before I started running paid games. Then when it was time to run paid games, I was like, people want to know what they're getting into before they get into it, right? I'm a nobody. I got nothing. But like I couldn't bring myself to just run the same thing everyone else was running. So Matt Colville was like, yeah, nerds, Red Hand of Doom, the last great thing from 3rd edition D&D. It'd be so cool as a 5th edition adventure. And I was like, yes. If I run a game like that that's recommended by Matt Colville, maybe I'll only get players who like Matt Colville. So then I'll get players that have a similar play style to me, right? Which is just the DM makes problems. That's it. Like, that's my playstyle. So the DM just gives you problems. They don't help you. They're horrible. So like, I was like, yeah, that could work. And it did. It did work out for me. And then from there, though, I did find myself wanting to run the popular games and stuff like that. But after doing that for 6 years, something like that, now out of nowhere, I just was like, Skyhaven, right? Like, I love Sea of Thieves, I love Pirates, I love One Piece, I love Pirates and One Piece and all that. I had so much fun playing Skull and Shackles. In Skull and Shackles, they had an arc where they were in the sky, they had an arc where they were in the lava seas of the Underdark, and like, I wanted to run a game that was like Airships and Sky Islands and Pirates and Treasure Planet and all those kind of vibes, right? I wanted to recapture all those vibes. I wanted to create new. And so I looked, and there just wasn't anything like that in Galarian.
Also stuck some Planescape in there too.
Oh yeah. So like I was very happy. Like, so I was like, let's do this thing, right? And like Galarian didn't have what I needed, so I took Galarian's Elemental Plane of Air, and I just was like, yeah, this corner of the Elemental Plane of Air, this is going to be where Skyhaven is. And then I was able, as a design challenge, rather than make everything from scratch, I forced myself to learn about the lore of Galarian so that I could learn about the world that I'm going to be running games in for a while, but then kind of co-opt it into my own thing. So it's been a really great, exciting, and challenging design process, and like, I'm just really passionate about it. I'm like really excited about it, and I'm enjoying it a lot. Just the whole process and everything. So it's, I mean, that's the dream though, right? That's the dream. You take like when you're an actor, you take the commercials, right? Because you need to build up your resume, and you need to get a reel, and you need to pay your bills. But really, you want to be in that perfect movie. You want to be in that play. You want to direct your own show or your own movie, right? Like that's the dream, right? So like, I feel like that's the journey for a lot of paid DMs, right? Is like, you run a few pre-cons, right, to get people in. The people see how you run a game. They trust you as a storyteller. You record the games. You get that reel going, right, that shows like you have the chops to do this, and then you can start running like your games, right, your stories, and then now you have this, you've kind of built that foundation. I don't know how successful you would be starting at ground zero with no experience and no background, no references, no reel, and you just went on to start playing games, and you just posted up, you know, this is me and this is my world and let's go. I mean, I guess if you had a really good like enticement, you know what I mean, like a really good description of the campaign, and you maybe showed off some like of the assets you plan to use for the campaign, maybe get some people in there.
There's some people out there who only want to play homebrew, right?
That's true. That is true. People that are just tired of doing the same stuff. Yeah.
So they don't want to find that wondrous figurine of
the Silver Raven.
Yeah.
Before we went with the Carrion Crown for the game I was going to run, I had joined up with a homebrew campaign set in Ustalav.
Okay.
Because I just craved Ustalav. I just love that whole entire region. I thought it was so cool. So I signed up for a homebrew campaign of that, and I made it through maybe one session because it was just, unfortunate the quality wasn't there.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I really wish that I could enjoy this game, but the NPCs don't even have an art using the unanimous or whatever it is default hidden guide token.
The barbarian token dude.
Yeah. It's like, this is a paid game, and maybe I want like a little more quality, even though so, and then I went, screw it, I'm gonna run my own Ustalav game.
Nice.
I'll do it myself. But yeah, I think the homebrew games can be such a coin flip, especially on like start playing and everything like that.
Yeah. And that's an important thing. I mean, we're all over the place subject-wise on this. This is the broad envelope or umbrella of like paid games. If you join a paid game and the vibes are off, just leave. Like, I'm telling
Yeah,
you
get
right
it
now.
out for- yeah.
If you join one of my games and you get into one of my games and you're playing my game and the vibes are off, just leave. Like, just leave. I ain't gonna be mad at you. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, but sticking around, forcing yourself to do it, bowing down to some weird social necessity, right? Especially for like strangers on the internet, don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Like, your time and money are worth so much, and like, there can only be so many people at that table, and you might not like the taste of that pizza. There could be a raccoon nearby that loves eating garbage pizza. You know, like, open the door, let the possum in. He go and take your spot. It's gonna be fine. Like, let somebody else join that group. Like, move on with your life. Don't let anyone in these groups ever guilt you into thinking that if you quit, everyone's gonna quit. You can't leave. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Yeah. I had a paid game that I was quitting. I like quitting games. I'm pretty good at quitting games. So like, well, I was. Not anymore. But I had the DM message me and was like, please don't quit the game. Like, if you quit the game, I don't think anybody else is gonna play. Like, you know, like you're kind of keeping things together. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, I know. I'm not the DM.
That's why I want to get out of here.
Yeah, like I'm secretly DMing your game. Like, I don't want to do that. You know what I mean? I'm here for me. You know what I'm saying? I'm here for me. I'm not here to like help you run a game. They're like, you can just play for free. I'll let you play for free as long as you stick around. I'm like, nah, it's okay. They're like, I'll pay you to stay. And I was like, yeah.
Oof.
That's rough, buddy. That's rough. So yeah, like, please respect yourselves enough. And this applies even to my games, even games run on our server. It doesn't mean that the game is bad. It doesn't mean that the DM is bad, and it doesn't mean that you're bad. It just means that there wasn't a connection there, right? Like, there just wasn't you weren't the right puzzle piece for that puzzle, or it wasn't the right puzzle for your puzzle piece. You know what I mean? Like, don't try to force it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you'll know if you're having a good time or not. If you start to get anxious about a D&D game starting, if you get sick during the week thinking about the fact that you have to play D&D, you don't want to be in that group, all right? Like, it's pretty simple. And I guess if I had given that advice to my Curse of Strahd games, we could have ended it a lot sooner. But still, like, if the game is not bringing you joy, right? This is supposed to be a fun thing. I dare say it should be one of the highlights of your week to sit down and play tabletop with other people. It should be one of the highlights of your week. It should never be a chore, right? You wouldn't pay $15, $20, $25, $30 a week to do more chores, right? Like, that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense. So I do think that a lot of groups would be better if people were more honest about, like, the time that they're having, right? Like maybe it'll get good. Here's the other thing. If it ain't going good, say something about it, right? If you like the game enough and or like the people enough that you want to stick around, you are a paying customer. At a restaurant, if I paid $16 for like a salad, and they brought me out the salad, and the salad was all wilted and gross, and the dressing was like, you know, a mess, or they forgot the dressing, right? They just brought me the salad, no dressing. I'm gonna say something, right? I'm not gonna eat a $16 salad without dressing. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, if I ordered chicken on the salad and they didn't bring the chicken, I paid extra for that chicken. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna say something. Like, same deal. Like, if you're in a game and it's not good, you're a paying customer. Like, message the GM, message the DM, and say, hey, I really enjoy the game, but Johnny's a total asshole. Like, you know, I'm LGBTQIATI plus, and like, they're saying a bunch of like bigoted stuff, and like, that's not a cool thing. It's not a cool place, man. I think you're a good DM, and I think it's a good game, but I can't play with that person. And maybe that's all the GM needed to hear to be like, you're right. And then they kicked Johnny out of the group, right? And now your experience got better. But like, again, like, communication, research, find the right fit. Don't stick around for the wrong fit. All that stuff's important when you're doing paid games. And flipping it around, if you're the GM and you have people in your group you don't have to keep them just because they're giving you money. You could just say, here's your money, go away. Like, it's pretty simple. You're a service, okay? So you're not like a store that can't refuse to let people into the store. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're a service online. You're a personalized service online. You can just say, yeah, nah, that's not working. Sorry. Or you're just not a good fit for the group. Or I think you'll be happier in a different group. It's the hardest thing in the world. It feels terrible. But like, you got to do it sometimes. You got to do it. Yeah. Especially, what if players come to you about Johnny and you didn't really think that Johnny was a problem, but everyone else thinks Johnny's a problem? Are you going to risk losing 4 players to keep 1 Johnny? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I've had to ask people to leave the group that were my friends, right? I've had friends, real life friends, apply for my games and they did not get in because I don't think that they would be a good fit with the other people that applied for the game. Like, I don't even let nepotism get involved. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I would tell, like, I'll not accept a friend from real life into a game if I don't think that friend's going to be a good fit with the rest of the group. It's just one of the things you got to do when you're running a game, especially a paid game. All right.
Yeah, I think it's also important to, like, when the DM says, "Oh, this is going to be a 1 to 20 campaign. This is going to be like a 3-year commitment." Ooh. You gotta like, you gotta stop. You know, when you realize that things aren't going well, like, don't subject yourself to a 1.5 years of this, hoping it's going to get better when you can, you know, be using your time doing something else that you might enjoy way more
like
than that.
Like finding another group that beats the expectations you're trying to do of the same game, maybe.
Yeah,
if it's an AP, you know. Yeah.
And that's the other thing to look for when you're looking at games, right? Is some games are already underway, and one of the benefits of running modules, right, is that maybe your group, you just said, screw this, I can't deal with this group anymore, I can't deal with this DM anymore, or maybe the DM told you to take a hike because you're just not a good fit. You're not murder hobo enough for my other 4 murder hobos. Like, you're killing the vibes here. Get out of here. Or the game just got canceled because, as Major Snood pointed out, your DM got arrested. All right, and they went to prison. So you can't finish the campaign anymore. So you see a game that's already like 10 sessions underway, message the GM, say, hey, how far into Curse of Strahd are you? I've played it before, but we only made it to here. And then the GM, especially if they're a paid GM, they're going to be horny for that money. They're going to be like, don't worry, we'll make it work. Get on in here. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. Yeah.
The question you asked, it was about, you know, the difference between friends and family and paid games.
Yes,
right? That was the question.
Sorry, like an hour ago. Yeah, I asked the question. Yeah.
So I would say for me, I have most of the games that I've played in and ran are paid. I don't have a lot of experience in friends and family games. I don't have a lot of friends and family that play TTRPGs. And so for me, I only know the paid GM and the paid player life for mostly. And I will say that I think it's probably I recently ran a sort of friends office game at my office. I ran through the beginner box, and I feel like I only know how to. I don't know if there's any difference for me for running a friends and families game versus a paid game. I feel like I'm gonna do, because that's the only way I learned how to do this is through a paid game, and I think I'm for me a lot of it's gonna be the same. The only thing that changed is that since it was also in-person game, the friends the office one that I did, you know, I had to learn how to play it in person instead of online, and that was the biggest change for me, more than just the people. I treated everybody at the office similar to how I treat everybody when I'm playing online on the server or with randoms. And I guess that's the thing, is that most of the time I've ever played TTRPGs, it's been with people I don't know real life. Well, and then now, because we had the thing on the summer, now I know them in real life. But for the most part, almost all my gaming has been has been with strangers. So I don't know what it's like to have like that best friends from like middle school play TTRPGs with them. I'm kind of curious of what that's like.
Yeah,
it's pretty fun. It's pretty damn fun. Yeah, it's pretty damn fun. Yeah, it's pretty damn fun.
It's fun because like you've known these people for so long. You have all your dumb inside jokes you've had forever, and you can kind of carry that into the game. And I don't know. I don't want to say it's more fun than paid games, but I want to say it's definitely a different type of fun. It's a different kind of fun. Yeah, definitely.
I mean, like, I think anytime you're hanging out with your close friends, you're gonna have a blast. And like if you're all doing something you enjoy doing, like TTRPGs, then of course it's just gonna be even better.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what we are. Is we're just hanging out. I mean, there's a reason my Dragonlords game is coming up in 4 years. We just can't get anything done. You know, so it is very fun. I think if you had a chance to play with like people you know or get people into the game that you know have been friends with for a very long time, I've been trying. Yeah,
I've been trying.
Good luck. I wish you luck. Yeah.
All right. But what about this? What about this
thing I did was
move? Oh, okay. Keep going. Closest you got is
the closest I got is that I got them to start playing Baldur's Gate 3.
Okay.
It's a start. It's a start.
And you guys are still working through that, right? You guys are still playing through?
So it got to the point now where the one friend it was first started as a co-op thing, and then he got his brother and his cousin involved. And then we were playing together, but then now he's just, because they haven't had time, he's just been playing by himself. Aww. And now he's stuck. He's stuck playing Baldur's Gate 3. Like I tell him, hey, if we're playing, let me know. And he just plays.
Dang. It's hard to capture that lightning in a bottle of getting 4 people to do a 4-player Baldur's Gate playthrough from start to finish, man. It takes some real crazy people to do something like that. It's just saying.
Yeah.
Well, all right, listen to this big brain move. What if you found strangers on the internet, turned them into your friends, and then you just paid each other to run games for each other? It sounds like the best of both worlds. You know what I'm saying? So,
like I'll tell you guys right now, the only reason why I really run a paid game is to afford to play in the games that are on the server.
All right. So, as CrypticMuffin, an artist, can tell you, the number one patron of artists are other artists. Just buying commissions from each other.
I use my money from commissions to buy more commissions.
Yep.
You know?
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. Here's my thing on it. If I ever woke up and did not need any money at all, right, I would still run paid games. And the reason that I would is because I do believe that the buy-in of the weekly dues, or however you schedule it, I do think that affects, especially American brains. It does affect the mind, right? It creates a value, even an artificial one, that wasn't there before, because there's a literal value now to it, right? So if you're not really feeling it, and you know the DM's not going to refund your money for missing a session because you're not really feeling it, you might find out that you are feeling it, and you might show up for the session. And maybe you aren't feeling it for the first 30 minutes or even 40 minutes of the session, and then it clicks, right? And you're like, oh yeah, this is a game, and I'm having fun, and these are people that I have fun with. And like, if you don't have that buy-in, right, it's so much easier just to be like, I'm just not coming tonight. You know, I'm just not feeling it tonight, right? Like, you don't have that sort of obligation. And there's more. It's like deeper psychology to it. If you don't show up and someone else doesn't show up, the DM might cancel the game, right? And now all these other people who are spending time and money, right, on this game are going to be let down, right? And so, like, you are a part of letting the team, right, down. It's not just like friends hanging out telling dick jokes. It's like a hobby that you're doing together, a team-based activity that you're doing together. You don't show up. Yeah.
Like if you were joined a bowling league and you paid the dues to go join the bowling league, if you don't show up, not only are you now wasting your own money that you spent, but then, you know, all the other people that spend their money to go and do this, you know, thing, practice together and get ready for this competition are now missing out a team member.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it does kind of create a more formal environment, and I don't think that that's necessarily a bad thing, right?
Yeah.
It also keeps us on track. My friends and family group, yeah, we bullshit for like the first, we only play for 2 hours a week, and we bullshit for like the first 15 or 20 minutes, and then when the session's over, sometimes we hang out after the session and we bullshit for another 20 or 30 minutes, okay? So like, I get the friends and family thing, right? But like, when I got a paid game, when it's start time, we start playing the game. You know what I'm saying? And we play the game. That's what we're doing. Like, and if things start to get off topic, I got ADHD, guys. I love getting off topic. No. I remember everyone's paying for this game. Cool. Wrap it up. Back on track. Like, it just makes it, for me, like that formality of it, even if it's with all friends and it's all friends, I would still have a paid game. Maybe I would donate the money to like Extra Life or something after every session, like Will does. But like, I still would collect the money, right? I would still go through the ritual of it, just so that, you know, it would keep that formality, it would keep that organization and that buy-in, that illusion of value. Yeah.
So before Carrion Crown became what it is currently, I was actually going to run it as a free game. I'm not going to name any names when I talk about this. But the players that I had for Carrion Crown left me with a very sad, disappointed feeling. One of them even saying this was going to be their joke game. And that just doesn't feel super good, I won't lie. It doesn't feel great. I know I am a pretty silly person, but it still doesn't feel super great. And the players felt like they didn't read this wonderful player's guide that my co-DM Darby made. When I specifically asked them to do things, they just didn't. And it was like, you know what? I don't need to do this. I'm gonna just stop it. And I think making it a paid service so people will maybe read the player's guide, maybe do what I recommend. Like Dom, for example, I had completely forgotten that the backgrounds for Carrion Crown were in Foundry. I had asked my previous players to pick backgrounds for Carrion Crown. They just didn't. And Dom makes a character with the Carrion Crown background I forgot about and didn't ask them to do it all, which I appreciated because he read the player's guide. so it's like, you know, I think
that's the only way I know.
Yeah.
I only know paid playing.
Right?
So it's just like, I feel like it vets the players too. To want to actually be there and actually want to, you know, participate in the game fully as well.
Yeah. It's just how it is. Like, I've offered to run free games before online. And had people like just not show up, like just not even tell me, just ghost me. I was just like, what? Like, what? I don't want to be like, do you know who I am? Like, but it kind of felt like that a little bit. Like, I'm just like, I felt like I was like a restaurant that was offering like free dinner, like a good restaurant is offering free dinner, and people were like, ew, it's probably not very good if it's free. Like that was kind of how it felt. It was just like, what? Yeah. Like, the story that I bring up all the time about paid game versus free game was a guy went to college. He was like a martial artist his entire life. He was like a 5th degree black belt or whatever. And he wanted to offer free martial arts lessons on campus, right? Like, as like a club. And they were like, yeah, sure. You know, you can't be a formal club until you have members, but you're welcome to post the ad or whatever. So he put free martial arts lessons. No one showed up. No, they could have had free martial arts lessons from a 5th degree black belt who wanted to teach them, who had a facility that granted by the school to do it in. Could have had it all, baby. Could have had it all for free. But like, nobody wanted free. That's probably bad, right? That's American consumerism, right? That's capitalism, right? Yeah. Free, ew, that's gross. So the next week he put up the sign and he said, martial arts lessons, $20 a session, and he had like 30 people show up.
Yeah.
The only thing he changed is he took away the word free and he put $20 a session, and all of a sudden 30 people showed up. Like, that's crazy. But sadly, that's how we've been conditioned, right? That's how we've been conditioned. It's like you don't trust free, right? You don't trust free. Right?
Yeah, you don't trust free services.
Right, exactly. Why is it free? Why is it free? You gonna grab my butt while we're doing karate? You know what I'm saying? Like, why is it free? You start to wonder. Yeah. All right, let's see. We're at time, but let me check the rest of the questions that we didn't do. I don't think there are any any controversies anymore about paid DMing, because I think it's been normalized enough that I don't really think.
Oh, I do.
Oh, you do? Okay, yeah.
So when I started, I mentioned to my friends who I run free games for that I was like, oh, I'm going to be doing this paid DMing thing, or even mention to them like, oh, I'm playing in a game, it's a paid game. They looked at me like it was crazy. Like, they were like why?
Like, CrypticMuffins, are you a sex worker now? Yep, that's yep.
They were like, you're paying for D&D? We do that shit for free here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I think it's generally a good industry to like be involved in. But I still think the stigma of paying for games is still out there. I want to say it's normalized, but I don't think a lot of people have been exposed to it all too much either.
Yeah, I don't want to name drop him in case his friends, eventually find this video, but someone that we all know and love very much, he took a chance on paid game, but he didn't tell any of his friends he was doing it because there was such a stigma amongst his friends, and his friend group and just the people that he was affiliated with outside of our server, that he didn't want to get bullied for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't want to get a hard time about being in a paid game, because it was kind of like, are you an idiot? Like, why would you pay for that? Like, yeah. And I don't like drawing the parallel there, but it do kind of have them sex worker vibes a little bit, right? Where it's like why would you pay for that? You could just get it for free at the bar. And it's like, do you want it for free at the bar? Like, have you been to a bar lately? Like, do you want it for free at a bar? I don't think so. You know what I mean? Like, maybe I want to pay a professional. Is that bad? Like, it feels like a professional versus a random person at the bar. You know what I mean? Like, so like, but that stigma is still there, right? It's like, what do you mean you pay for it? I
like to think of it as like, if you're moving, right, and you pay for movers to come in, or you ask your friends to help you move. Like, sure, yeah, you could ask your friends to help you move, and maybe you'll pay them too. Just for helping you out, or maybe they help you out.
Beer and pizza, right? Beer and pizza, yeah.
Or you actually hire a professional service to help you move your stuff. I mean, would you tell somebody they're stupid for hiring somebody to move their stuff? Probably not.
And there's different levels too, right? Like, I could go on Craigslist and pay Frank to come by and move my stuff, and then if he breaks it, he's not liable because he doesn't have like any insurance. He's not a real insured like moving company. Or I can get like an actual real thing. And there again, right, if you have a start playing games game, right, and it doesn't work out, they have stuff in place to cancel games, to contest charges, to report bad GMs and stuff like that. You find some rando on Reddit, which I used to be a rando on Reddit. You find some rando on Reddit. What are you gonna do about it? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's buyer beware, right? So like, yeah, I definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I used to be that person with the stigma of why would you pay for D&D? That's crazy. My first game I played and that was paid was on this server. That was like the first time I like gave it a shot, and it was great. It's fantastic. I mean, I think it was like maybe like 5 sessions in, and I was like, dang, there's like a lot of work going into this.
What game was it?
It was
It was Cyberpunk.
It was what?
It was
Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Oh, snap. Awesome.
Because it's like, there's so much work going into this. I get it now. It all makes sense.
I think what helped the controversy die down a little bit was pandemic, when we all got locked down and we were all desperate for social interaction and all that kind of stuff. Before pandemic, I would get privately messaged, like hate message about being a paid DM and running paid games. I would actually have people come into my DMs especially on Facebook, which is just a den of toxicity. And they would attack me. Like, they would come after me about being a paid DM, that I was like ruining the hobby, and this is a sacred thing, and like they had strong beliefs, and they, like, I have been playing this game since I was like 12 or 13 years old. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is my whole existence, is this game. When I heard about paid games, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't even believe it. I was like, who would pay for this shit? And this is a hobby that I've been doing my whole life that I love more than anything else in the whole world. And I heard that people were paying for it. I was like, who the fuck would pay for this? Like, that's crazy. And so I joined some paid games to try and figure out, why would people pay for this shit? And I would talk to the other players and be like, why are you paying for this? And it made sense to me right away, right? Because it's not easy to make friends as an adult. And if you don't have your D&D friends from middle school and high school, you can't just magically pull them out of your ass. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, that was 100% for me, because I had nobody around me does this hobby, and I found out about it. And I was like, man, this is so cool. Looks around, crickets. No one here, does it. Yeah. The nearest like game store is like, like a 2-hour drive away from where I live.
Right? Yeah.
And like, so I was like, okay. I mean, pandemic happens, and like I see the Roll20 video. I see Odyssey being played. I'm like, man, that looks so fun. I want to do that. And so I watched the Roll20 videos, and I was like, okay, people from the office, we did this once. I want to try and do this again. Let me try and GM for us online using Roll20, and it worked out a little bit. And then I was like, okay, well, they don't have time to play anymore, so I need to figure out how to do this. And that's when I, try to join the server so I can play in a game.
The Odyssey videos, that's how they get them.
It was the Roll20.
It was those Roll20. Those Roll20 videos really helped. Really helped a lot. Yeah, like
it was for me, it was the Roll20.
It was definitely one of those things where like you do something good and then something good happens because you did something good. Like, I made the Roll20 tutorial series because I needed to do something other than think about a global pandemic, and then people saw the videos and messaged me and asked about games and asked if I would run more games, and then I was running 7 games a week, and we had people showing up on the Discord server, and when
did that video kind of blow up for you? Like, what year was it? Was it during the pandemic?
Immediately. Yeah. So like, I was told, hey, we're not sure what to do. Don't come to work today. And I had done my research, right? Like, I already knew how bad it was in, the rest of the world. Like, because see, America, there's actually more countries in the world besides us, right? So I had been talking to people overseas, and, kind of like, oh, it's bad. When this hits America, we're screwed. And like, so I knew that we were going to be not sure what to do for a while. And I was like, upset, right? Like, cause I'm like, is this a Stephen King novel? Like, is this The Stand? Like, I don't know what's gonna happen. That's back when we used to wipe down every grocery when we brought it into the house, because we didn't know if it was gonna have like death on it or not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You took a shower with your groceries because you didn't know if you could trust the groceries. So I was like, people are gonna freak out, like that. They can't play D&D anymore. That was what was going through my mind. So I was like, I know what I'll do. I'll teach everyone to play D&D online. It'll be okay. And minutes after posting the videos, they blew up. Like, minutes after posting the videos, they blew up. And people were just like, I didn't run ads on them either, because I had never really posted any videos, so I couldn't run ads on them. There was no like monetization or anything like that. It was just me putting the videos out there and being like, this is how I do it. I don't know if this is the right way to do it, but this is how I do it. And then like, people were like, do you run games? I want to play in some games that you run. And then now we have this nice big server and lots of people to play games with and lots of game systems to play. And I mean, was at least a game going on every night on our server. Sometimes 2 games going on per day. It's getting pretty good. It's getting pretty good. People playing Vigima games. People posting memes. It's a good time. So yeah, overcoming the controversy definitely helped with pandemic. on that one. Let's see. The last thing, the challenges, making it. We already talked about that. Why would somebody pay? Yeah. All right. We covered all my questions. Do you guys have anything in closing that you want to put out there?
I guess I have just one thing to say about Start Playing Games.
Okay.
Because while I was trying to find a good payment for Carrying Crown, Start Playing Games was on the list. It is really easy to get a game listing up if you want to start on Start Playing Games as a GM. It's very, very user friendly. They like walk you through the listing that you're gonna make, and they have to approve it and everything, but like it's very easy to do. So if you do want to get out there and start doing the paid games and want to start Playing Games, it's very friendly. It's very nice. Don't be afraid.
And you don't have to do it with PayPal.
You don't have to do it with PayPal. God, I hate PayPal. I hate PayPal so much.
So much.
It's just playing on Start Playing Games alone to just not deal with PayPal is just
the haunted look on Dom's face when we're talking about hating PayPal. It's so bad, guys. Like, I do it on PayPal because I've been doing it on PayPal, and bottom line, it is cheaper for me to do it on PayPal because Start Playing Games does take a bigger cut than PayPal does, and if I've already got it set up, I might as well keep going. I've said it before, I'll say it again, we're not sponsored or even partnered with Start Playing Games, but if I were doing it all over again, if I was starting from scratch, I would go there right away. When that service launched, as soon as that service launched, I said, these dudes going to be making money hand over fist. This is going to be big. This is going to be real big. Yeah.
We have a question from chat that might.
Oh yeah, sure. Are there any other services you'd recommend for a new paid GM besides Start Playing? Services.
I mean, I think it really depends. I think it really depends what services is in this situation.
So, I mean, okay, so what's out there is if you're playing on Roll20, Roll20 has their thing, and I mean, there's people there. So that's one way to get there, but whether it's going to be the service that takes care of the payment, I don't know if Roll20 does the whole payment thing for you. I think that's something you have to set up.
I think you still have to arrange payment yourself, and they do have like some loose rules about posting games and finding games and stuff like that. That's what I used initially. I used that.
I believe the new Fantasy Ground Unity, that one also has something in it. I think. I'm not sure, but I think they have something in it as well. The official, if you're playing it on a VTT, the official Discords for the VTT usually has like a paid GM section. Yeah, channel for people to post.
Adventure Paths, the Discords for Adventure Paths will often have a paid channel, so you can post there.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
If you're running Witchlight, join the Witchlight Discord. Look for the paid channel. That kind of thing.
Yeah. There's a lot of ways to advertise the game. When it comes to actually processing the payment, Start Playing Games is probably going to be your best bet. I do not recommend dealing with PayPal. You're just going to want to end it all.
Yeah. And
it was such a hard time getting that started.
I don't know how much money you're going to be making, but like PayPal going to rat you out to the IRS immediately. Now, Start Playing Games is going to do it too, but like I don't want you to think that if you use PayPal or Venmo or something instead of a service like Start Playing Games, that you're going to be sneaky, that you're going to IRS ain't going to find out about this because I'm just getting some payment sent to me by my friends online. No, they're going to get you. You have to report you got to report your earnings. It used to be under 10K you didn't have to report it. Not anymore. PayPal
800.
Yeah, PayPal will report you real quick, and they'll send you an email to be like, "We just told the IRS that you're making some money this year."
I've had that before.
Yeah. So don't think that that's going to get you out of it. Don't think that Venmo used to be for selling drugs and stuff. No, it's a real thing now. Okay, they're going to tell the IRS how much money you made. So don't think you're going to get out of it there either. What else? Another good place to find games. Somebody in chat said Reddit. I used to post on Reddit. There are some paid looking for group Discords that you can post in. I'm not gonna say I don't think it's the best place to go, honestly. But you could go. There's Facebook communities. That's even worse place to go than Reddit. Quality of person on Facebook is worse than the quality of person on Reddit. I'm just gonna generalize the whole human population right now. There's not really a lot of viable social media platforms anymore either. So like, the one thing that I will warn you about, I'm going to warn you about something. There are people out there called dungeon pimps. Okay. Your level of comfort with being pimped is going to vary. Start Playing Games is like an agency, right? If we're going with like the sex worker analogy, right? It's like they're an agency, right? They're on the up and up, right? They've got rules and stuff that they have to follow. There's contracts that you got to sign, paperwork, right? So dungeon pimps are people that have built Discord communities. They have built up online communities full of players, and those players all want to play games. And then the organizers of these Discords are always looking for people to run paid games on those Discords, right? So they might scout you if you're posting like on Reddit and say, yeah, I'm running a paid game and all that. You might get scouted by people from these Discords, and they might say, hey, do you want to be a part of our, DM Gaming Legion? Do you want to be a part of our like Dark Moon Eclipse conspiracy? Like, do you want to be a part of our, Witches Coven? Like, you want to be a part of this? And then you're like, well, maybe. And like, I love that cat so much. By the time they're done, you're charging people like $25, and you're getting like 10 per person. And then you still got to pay taxes on it. Do you see where it starts to fall apart? Like, so just like a real pimp, they're going to take everything they can from you, including the credit. So like, something to think about. And these dungeon pimps, they'll tempt you, okay? They'll say, I already have the Foundry world set up. I already have the Roll20 world set up. I've got a username and login. You don't even have to pay for books, baby. I've got everything. You just show up for your shift and you just run the game. I swear to God, this exists. So if that sounds appealing to you, it exists. But I'm telling you right now to be on the lookout for that. If you're getting into paid DMing, I don't want anybody getting dungeon pimped, okay? So like, just be on the lookout for that. All right, and I think with the dungeon pimp warning, that's probably a good time to end it. Because we're 20 minutes over our time. All right, so hopefully this video is helpful to anybody who's out there. It is January of the year 2025. Great things are happening all over the place. But when great things are happening in the real world, they can also be happening in Fantasyland. So it is a good time, I think, for paid DMs. I think there's going to be a lot of people this year looking for an escape from reality. And you can be one of the people that provides that. So whether you find yourself a dungeon pimp or Start Playing Games or head out on your own and find people on Reddit and Facebook and have them send you money awkwardly through PayPal, I wish you the best of luck in what you're trying to do. And if you want, you could just look for the secret link to our Discord and join that, and then be on the lookout for games on our server, because this game's being run all the time and being posted all the time. All right. Well, thank you guys for taking the time out of your Friday night to hang out and chat about this wonderful hobby of ours. And yeah, good luck with your paid games this year.
All right.
Yeah, just all I got. Any parting words for us, Cryptic Muffins?
I'm gonna go back to sleep.
Okay.
All right.
Fair enough, so that you can wake up at 11 and play video games. I got you. All right.
Prime time.
All right, everybody have a good weekend, and I'll see you next time.
All right, take care.
Thanks.